In every moment, there are names we remember and names we forget. Some become symbols, others become mysteries, and some, despite their courage, their sacrifice, and their impact, are left in the margins of history. Today, we'll explore the lives and unanswered questions surrounding three such figures: A.D. King, Carrie Nelson, and Marsha P. Johnson. Three different eras, three different struggles, but one shared truth: their stories deserve to be told. Part 1: A.D. King, the Other King. Early life. Alfred Daniel King, known simply as AD, was born July 30th, 1930, in Atlanta, Georgia. The youngest of three children in the King family, he grew up in a home defined by faith, discipline, and community leadership. His father, Reverend Martin Luther King Sr., was a towering figure in Atlanta's Black church. His mother, Alberta William King, was a musician and educator. His siblings, Christian and Martin, excelled in school, followed rules, and followed their path their father laid out. But AD was different. He was the child who pushed boundaries, the one who got in the fights in the neighborhood, the one who challenged authority, even his father's. Reverend King Sr. once described him as a little rough at times. Yet beneath that rebellious streak was a fierce, loyal, and quiet strength. Becoming a leader despite resisting the ministry as a young man, AD eventually followed the family calling. He became a pastor, a strategist, and a key figure in the civil rights movement. Though rarely in the spotlight, he marched in Birmingham. He organized in Louisville. He survived bombings, threats, and constant surveillance. But while Martin became a global icon, AD remained a movement's steady, uncelebrated backbone. The mystery: on July 21st, 1969, just 15 months after Martin's assassination, A.D. King was found in his swimming pool. The official ruling was accidental drowning, but his family never accepted that. His father insisted A.D. was a strong swimmer. His widow believed he was targeted. Friends said he had been receiving threats. And then there was the timing, so close to his brother's death, and during a period when civil rights leaders were still being monitored, harassed, and attacked. To this day, the circumstances remain unclear. A life overshadowed in history, and death overshadowed in mystery. Part 2: Carrie Nelson. The woman in this history misplaced, a woman without a story, Carrie Nelson, a name that appears in conversations about civil rights but leads to a trial of contradictions. Search the archives and you will find many women named Carrie Nelson: teachers, mothers, workers, victims of unrelated tragedies, but none clearly tied to the civil rights movement. So who was she? Possibility 1: misattribution. Her name may have been confused with other activists: Carrie Meek, Carrie Best, or others, women whose stories are documented. In the chaos of oral history, names shift, stories merge, and sometimes a person becomes a symbol rather than an individual. Possibility 2: erasure. Thousands of women, especially Black women, organized marches, fed activists, housed leaders, and risked their lives, but their names were rarely recorded. Carrie Nelson may have been one of them: a local organizer, a community leader, a woman whose contributions lived in memory, not in archives. Possibility 3, lost history. It's also possible that Carrie Nelson's story was never written down, never preserved, never protected. A reminder of how easy history forgets those without power. The mystery. Carrie Nelson's mystery is not about how she died, but about how she lived and why we couldn't find her story. She represents the countless unnamed women who shaped civil rights history from the shadows. Women whose stories deserve to be found, even if records never surface. Part 3, Marsha P. Johnson, Pay It No Mind. Marsha P. Johnson was born on August 24th, 1945 in Elizabeth, New Jersey, the fifth child of 7. In a working class Black family, she grew up in a home filled with church, chores, and the constant struggle to make ends meet. From a young age, Marsha expressed gender nonconformity, wearing dresses at the age of 5. But bullying and a traumatic assault forced on her to hide parts of herself. After graduating high school, she left home with just $15 and a bag of clothes, heading to New York City. There she found community, identity, and eventually her name. Marsha P. Johnson. The P stood for Pay It No Mind. Marsha P. Johnson became a central figure in the LGBTQ plus rights movement. She was present at the Stonewall Uprising. She co-founded STAR, helped homeless queer youth. She marched, protested, and cared for those society ignored. Her joy was radical. Her generosity was legendary. Her existence was resistance. The mystery. On July 6, 1992, Marsha's body was found in the Hudson River. Police quickly ruled it a suicide. Friends immediately disagreed. She had been followed. She had been threatened. She had a head wound. After public pressure, the case was reclassified as undetermined. But no one was ever charged. And the truth remains elusive. Marsha's death reflects a large pattern: violence against Black trans women, often ignored or dismissed. Her life changed history. Her death still demands answers. Part 4, threats that connect them. 3 lives, 3 mysteries, 3 stories shaped by the same forces. Erasure. Their contributions minimalized or forgotten. Vulnerability. Living at the intersection of race, gender, activism, and danger. Unanswered questions. Deaths and histories that remain unresolved. A.D. King overshadowed by his brother. Carrie Nelson lost in the gaps of the historical record. Marsha P. Johnson dismayed by a system that never protected her. Their stories remind us that history is not just what is remembered, it is also what is forgotten. Remembering the unremembered. To honor these lives, to confront the silence around them, to ask the questions others stopped asking, to shine light where history left shadows, because every moment is built not just by icons, but by the overlooked, the erased, and the misunderstood. A.D. King, Carrie Nelson, and Marsha P. Johnson. Their mysteries remain, but their stories now will not be forgotten. A.D. King, Carrie Nelson, Marsha P. Johnson. Their deaths remain unsolved. Their legacies remain undeniable. This Black History Month, we remember not just the victories, but the mysteries, the silenced, and the stories still waiting to be heard. Happy Black History Month, everyone.